Welcome to Singapore Poly first virtual open house. I'm Carol and I'm the MC for today. Now, before I continue, I would like to show you our school video.
Over the years, our Singapore has transformed from, in the past, the mudflats to the metropolitan city. We are moving away from the traditional construction method, which is very labor-intensive, to something that is more digitalized and more collaborative and bringing all the project parties in a more efficient way. Choosing a career in the built environment means, for example, being professionals like the architects, the engineers, quantity surveyors, as well as project manager or developers. So if you love the environment and you want to protect it and develop it further, that's the career that you should join.
For students who join, we have got up-to-date curriculum looking at what the industry needs. They learn from their peers. In SP, they also have the choice to direct their learning, or what we call self-directed learning. I think students, when they join SP, they can get insights about the built environment. So from the design part of architecture, landscape, interior design, all the way to the construction, right? Civil engineering, building of buildings, the maintenance and upkeep, facility management, as well as programming, right? Running events and facilities within the city itself. I think ABE presents a holistic approach to the built environment, and students will be able to learn and pick up these skills and contribute back to the built environment in Singapore, which I think is an amazing opportunity.
So the built environment is a very rewarding profession to be in because you get to design spaces that will form experiences and memories for people. ABE provided me a strong foundation in the technical aspects of architecture, and it helped me hone my sensibilities towards attention to details, and I'm always seeking for perfection in resolution. From my experience, students from ABE have been doing very well in other institutions as they pursue their higher education. That gives the students a lot more confidence and freedom as they pursue the various aspects of architecture.
Welcome back. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Now I'm going to bring you through the 6 courses. Okay, so over at the School of Architecture and the Built Environment, we have 6 courses. And through the 6 courses, we are helping Singapore to create a sustainable future. So, what is the built environment journey about? It is about creating, transforming, synergizing, designing, enhancing, and integrating the whole environment around us. So I will be covering the 6 courses, namely Diploma in Architecture, Diploma in Civil Engineering, Diploma in Landscape Architecture, Diploma in Interior Design, Diploma in Facilities Management, and also Diploma in Integrated Events and Project Management. So I've clustered the diplomas into 2 different clusters. The first cluster is all about the design diplomas. It is all about creativity and the design process. So I'm going to cover Diploma in Architecture, Diploma in Landscape Architecture, and Diploma in Interior Design. So for the first diploma, which is Diploma in Architecture, we are the first full-fledged diploma in architecture in Singapore. We have been established here for a very, very long time. Okay, so as you can see on your screen, you can see that we are actually the first diploma in Singapore handling architecture. We are also going to launch a first-year common foundation program for the 3 design diplomas. Okay? And there is a lot of hands-on design studio session that is focused on critical and creative thinking. You have plenty of opportunities to do that. There will be a lot of teaching through design projects. So this diploma, you will have to go through a lot of projects, a lot of presentations, and you will have opportunities to work with clients and also with having workshop with visiting professors. And all these visiting professors are from the industries, they are from the universities, okay? And there are definitely special pathways programs that will allow you to go into university. Now, when it comes to diploma in architecture, these are the possible career options. Now, I have to highlight over here. All these career options are specifically for those who graduate with a diploma in architecture. If you want to move on to be a certified architect, you do have to further study and get a degree. Okay, so there are many career options over here as listed. Okay, you can even go into become an architectural sales coordinator, sales executive. You can go into BIM, being a BIM specialist. You can be a visualization specialist. So there are some pictures over there. You can see it actually, they are our graduates. So you can see where are they right now. These are some of the examples where they ended up in. Okay, so when it comes to diploma in architecture, you have plenty of opportunities, be it you want to go straight out to work or do you want to further study. Okay, you can further study in local universities, getting a degree in architecture. You can choose to go overseas, and there are plenty of CET programs, plenty of advanced diplomas programs, and also universities for you to choose from. Now, I'm going to move on to landscape architecture. Just now we talked about the diploma in architecture. Diploma in architecture, we are covering about designing of buildings. Now we are looking at designing the area, the spaces around us to make it more livable so that the community can enjoy. So we are talking about designing landscape with synergy. Okay, we are the full-fledged landscape architecture diploma in Singapore. We have been here quite some time too. Okay, so for this particular diploma, there is plenty of digitalization skills that we are going to teach you that will help you in communications and in constructions. Okay, and there's plenty of projects too, the same as diploma in architecture. And they will learn about the workflow in your professional life. All these project-based courses will help you to build your career in the future. There are plenty of critique sessions during your presentation, so you can learn from the session and better yourself throughout. Okay, and a lot of materials that are being taught inside the course will be for sustainable practices, and also you will be taught plant knowledge and also technology, how to integrate greenery into our spaces. Now, bear in mind for this diploma, it is about landscape architecture designing. We are not teaching you to be a horticulturalist. That's a difference. Okay. Now, moving on to the career options. These are the career options that are shown over there. There are plenty of career opportunity over here. If you look at the options that's listed down there, it basically shows you what you can do if you graduate with a diploma in landscape architecture. Again, if you want to be a professional architect, you will still need to further study to get a university degree. Okay, so we have 2 graduates there, and they are doing very well, one with MPark. Okay, so moving on, what about the future opportunities? After with this diploma, where can you go? Okay, you can choose to work, like I've shown you about the career options, or you can choose to further study. There are plenty of opportunities for you to choose. You can take up CET programs, you can take up the advanced diploma, and you also can choose to go to universities, be it local or overseas universities. There are plenty of opportunity right there. Okay, now we have already settled the outside. We are going to move into the diploma in interior design. A lot of people have the misconception that diploma in interior design is only for designing the interior of residential building. No, it is much more than that. Okay, we are talking about designing meaningful and purposeful interior spaces, not only for residential building. We are also looking at commercial building, retail shops. We are also looking at exhibition spaces. It's a lot more than just residential building. Okay, so for the diploma in interior design, as mentioned earlier, they are also going to have the first year common foundation program, which is the same for diploma in landscape architecture and diploma in architecture. Okay, there will be plenty of opportunity for you to participate in live client studio programs, and we have real life industry partners who will be giving you this kind of opportunity. You'll gain a lot of exposure when it comes to designing trends, and we do use design thinking when it comes to teaching you guys how to create and design. Okay, so you will have a very strong research grounding when you come to learning this diploma. Okay, so when it comes to the diploma in interior design, these are the career options. There's some very special one that I would like to highlight. You can be a visual merchandiser, a stage set designer, spatial planner, not to forget that, it is not only restricted to being an interior designer, like I've said before, sitting in a renovation place and then company and doing just design. It's way, way beyond that. Okay, you can even be a walkthrough animator. Okay, so when it comes to the future of after you have graduated with this diploma, you can actually choose to go straight out to work based on the job options that I have shown earlier, or you can choose to further study. There are plenty of opportunity too. You can choose to go through CET program, you can go taking up advanced diploma, and you can also choose to go to university, be it local or overseas university. Okay, so I'm done with the first cluster of the 3 diplomas, the design diplomas. I'm going to move on to the next 3 diplomas. They are all about management and coordination. So I'm going to cover on diploma in civil engineering, diploma in facilities management, and diploma in integrated events and project management. So for diploma in civil engineering, we are the only diploma in civil engineering in Singapore. Okay, and that spells a lot. Because if you want to be a civil engineer, you want to work towards that, SP is the place for you. Okay, so for us, like I've mentioned before, we are the first and we are the only civil engineering diploma. We make use of CDIO learning approach, which is conceive, design, implement, and operate. This kind of learning approach to teach our students. Okay, there is a very, very high demand when it comes to career opportunities. Very frankly, Singapore is very short of civil engineers. Okay, we do not just teach the narrow form of civil engineer where you think that it is all about buildings, building a structure only, the buildings only. We are going beyond that. We teach you about water tech, we teach you about bridges, we teach you about tunneling. So, your MRT tunneling, all this is all part of civil engineering. Okay, you will be equipped with technical skills, and also you'll be equipped with soft skills. And all this will be totally aligned with the transformation map that is planned out for Singapore. So what about the career opportunities? There are 2 different clusters of career opportunities that I would like to highlight here. There are some of you who likes to be in an indoor environment. So if with a diploma in engineering, you may want to consider working in a consultancy or a design position. This will be more indoor and office based. Okay, so you have the kind of career opportunity whereby you can be a marketing sales executive, you can be a BIM specialist, you can be a CAD engineer, or if you are those who are more outgoing, then the site supervisory position will be suitable for you. Okay, you can be site supervisor, technical executive. Now, if your goal is to be a certified civil engineer, you do have to go on to study your degree in civil engineering. And what is the best thing about this particular diploma? You do get a year of exemption if you go to NUS or NTU for the civil engineering course. So you can finish earlier than your peers. Okay, so like I said before, there are plenty of opportunities here for further studies. You are looking at choices of going for CET courses, advanced diploma courses, and also universities, both local and overseas. Now, I'm going to move on to diploma in facilities management. So what is facilities management? So facilities management is, you may say that it's managing facilities. Yes, you are right. But not to forget, every single building, every single structure, you need somebody out there to manage, to ensure that it's running well. So those of you who have just finished your secondary school, you will be able to tell me who is the facility manager in the school. Most of you will have told me it's the operation manager. You are right too, okay? So they are the one who make sure that you have a very nice environment when you go to school. So I'm going to move on to the diploma in facilities management. So for us, we do teach the students both technical skills and soft skills. And on top of that, we teach them business management skills, because it is not about just managing the technical part. We need to handle people. We need to handle clients. We need to handle people who are inside or residing in the building or using the building. So the people skills and the business management skills are also very, very important. We have plenty of industry link projects whereby you get plenty of exposure, and there is a lot of career opportunities in this sector. There are so many buildings all around Singapore, and every single one of them need a team of facility management managers to manage them. So you can see the demand for this kind of career is really, really very, very high. Now, what is the best thing about this particular diploma? Upon graduation, not only you get a diploma in facilities management, you get 3 other certificates on top of it. The Fire Safety Manager, Be Safe Level 2 Cert, and also the Supervised Construction Work for WSH. Now, you may think that to get these 3 additional certs, does it mean that I have to take additional classes or courses? No, it's all infused inside the module already. So don't worry about it. It's part and parcel of the course. So upon graduation, you'll be getting 4 certificates instead of the usual 1 certificate. So what are the career opportunities over here? You can be working for different sectors and industry. It is not only you're working for buildings owners or managing agents. You can be working for many other types. So if you say that I'm very interested in working in a very hospitality kind of background, or even more tourism kind of background, you can work in facilities that is handling that. For example, you can work for Universal Studios, doing the facilities management there. You can work for Sentosa, handling the facilities management there. Or if you say that I prefer to work in the medical industry, then you can work for a hospital and then also be the facility manager over there. So there are plenty of opportunity for you. Okay. So when it comes to diploma in facilities management, you will be looking at all the options over here. Other than working in so many different kind of industry, you can also choose to further study. And you do get a year of exemption if you go to NUS and choose to take their relevant degree, which is facilities management. So you do get up to a year of exemption for that. Okay, and you can choose to study overseas. There are plenty of CET programs, and also there's advanced diploma programs for you to choose. So there are plenty of pathways for you. Okay, now I'm going to touch on the integrated events and project management diploma over here. So what is events? I'm sure a lot of you know what events is all about and how exciting it is. Okay, so we are talking about creating the way events should be. We will train you from creation all the way to running the events. Okay. So we will teach you events management skills, technical skills. There are plenty of industry link projects that you will be handling from year 1 all the way to year 3. We utilize a simulated and authentic learning approach, whereby there is a lot of hands-on running of events for you to learn through the experience. And we do teach you both virtual and hybrid events. Okay, so not to worry. It is not about just running physical events. It is also all about running virtual events, exactly like what we are doing right now. So there are plenty of career opportunities in many sectors too. And all this also requires events expertise. Not only events company, you have corporate companies that may need people with event specialty so that they can help to run their marketing campaign, their awareness campaign, so on and so forth. Okay, so when it comes to career opportunity, like I've mentioned, there's plenty of opportunity. You can be a client experience manager, you can be a conference manager, you can be a marketing sales manager too. So you can even move into sponsorship sales. All there's plenty of opportunity for you. Okay, so other than working, if you choose to further study, you may do so. There are a lot of relevant courses that may be out there for you, be it CET courses, advanced diploma courses, and university courses. In fact, there are plenty of students of ours that do move on to the universities to take on different kind of universities degree courses. Okay, so I'm done with the 6 courses. You'll be interested to know, so what are the points that you require to come in? So you can see here, the first cluster is for the design courses. So that's the range of your marks that you are looking at. This is based on year 2020 JAE. Okay, and that is the minimum requirement you are looking at. And now this is for the next 3 diploma that's on management and coordination one, which is your civil engineering, facilities management, and events management. So these are the range of points that you are looking at. So just now I mentioned about how we have plenty of opportunities for you guys to be working with the industry. These are some of our industry partners. Okay, we work with them through internship programs, collaboration, through getting them in to be guest speakers. We also bring them in to collaborate and provide projects for our students so that they do learn through real life project experience with the industry. Now, just now I mentioned about further studies. A lot of our diplomas do have up to 1 year of course exemptions into relevant degree program. That will be for the local youth. For overseas universities, sometimes you can even get up to 2 years of exemption. Okay, so now feel free to go on to our website over at www.sp.edu.sg, and you'll be able to find out more about all the different schools and also the different diplomas that we have available. Okay, and this one is particularly for the School of Architecture and the Built Environment. In short, we call it ABE. Okay, so over there you can go in and explore further on each different diploma and know about the curriculum, read about the courses, and getting more details out of it. Okay, do like us and keep in touch with us on Facebook. We do post a lot of students' projects and competitions on it so that you will be aware of what kind of exposure you will be able to get when you join us. Okay, so again, just to let you know, these are the avenues that you can come in touch with us. So I've done with the 6 diplomas. I hope that it has been informative, and do join us, but please stay on because I'm going to let our student Dylan to come and explain and tell you more about his life in Singapore Poly. Dylan? Dylan, please.
Thank you. The clicker, the slides. Okay, so hi everybody. My name is Dylan. Today I will take you through my life in SP, which has been extremely exhilarating and full of events. So please do sit back and relax while I take you through my life in SP. So these are the agenda for today. So firstly, I'll do an brief introduction of myself, and my key highlights from year 1 through 3, and also about CCAs. So my name is Dylan. I'm a student of the Diploma in Interior Design in SP, and I'm currently in my 3rd year of the diploma. So for other activities, I'm part of the sport program of SP. I'm part of Society of Interior Designer, in Singapore, which is in short, SIDS. And also, I'm part of the Diploma Plus in Quantitative Surveying. So this is just some of the key highlights in year one. The highlights of my life in SP has been full of events, full of fun. So these are just some of the key parts of it. So some of the highlights would be the freshman orientation program, which all of the students will take. Common Foundation, which Carrie has mentioned just now. My learning trip to Malacca, and also some of the different projects and works. So for my freshman orientation program, this will be, it ran across 4 diplomas. So one interesting fact about interior design, the diploma, is that back then when I joined, it was part of the design school. So now it has merged with ABE, and I feel like we are part of an even bigger family. So the 4 diplomas that were back in design school was, of course, interior design, games design, graphics design, and experience design. So the students of these 4 diplomas would come together and have their FOP together. So the purpose of the FOP is to familiarize ourselves with our environment, our school environment, and also make some new friends. Friends are a very important part of your life in SP, in any part of the society, in fact. So some of the different things that we had games, we had tours of the school's facilities, and with that came along a lot of fun memories, a lot of different memories and souvenirs. So with that also, with your friends that you've made, you'll find that you're constantly meeting up with them, catching up with them, and also just having a lot of fun with them. So this is the Common Foundation program. So for this year, our Common Foundation would be interior design, architecture, and also landscape architecture. So the 4 of us would come together, the 3 of us, sorry, would come together and learn the different fundamentals, skill sets, which are relevant across the 3 diplomas. So things like basic softwares, basic model making, basic drawing classes, and also user experiences. So we find that we have a lot of site visits, a lot of analyzing, and also a lot of designing. Next is a trip to Malacca, which is under the semester, my second semester in my first year. So we had a trip to Malacca for our interior design diploma, and it shows us a lot of real life experiences. So we had a tour of a brick factory in Malacca, a very big brick factory. We actually learned a lot of things there. We had to go to a kampong. So with the kampong, we drew out a kampong. We had fun with the people there, and we learned a lot about how a proper kampong would run. And of course, we visited a shop house. So shop houses are actually much bigger there in Malacca, and we had a lot of fun touring the shop house. So now the different projects and works. So like Karen mentioned earlier, we are not restrained to just residential design. So we do a lot of exhibition design, we do a lot of interior architecture, and things like that. So hospitality design and also commercial design. So these are just a few of the different projects. So the cardboard model that you see there is actually a 1:1 life scale model. So once we are done with the model, we actually were given the chance to sit on it. We allow our lecturers to sit on it and things like that. So a big part of our project is presenting. So we always have to present our work very properly to our lecturers and make sure that they understand our design process, our design thought, and what the project is meant to be. So the models at the site are slightly smaller models. They would be scale models, as we call it in our design industry. So that's the 9 grid. So the 9 grid is somewhere where someone can sit on, and it's a repetitive module that is taken throughout in our design module. So this is my year 2 highlights. So we had a lot of industry partnership. I had another chance to go to an overseas trip to Melbourne, and some of my different project works, and of course a big part of your life in SP, internship. So this is a highlight of my industry partnership. So the client is actually Commune. So Commune is a luxury furniture shop based in Millennial Walk in Singapore. So our diploma actually split into 14 groups of 5 people each, and we had to propose a design for a shopfront display for Commune. So shopfront design would be what you would see when you're walking past a shop in the windows, and how they display their furnitures, how they display their products, and things like that. So of the 14 groups, the client were able to pick one group which they would really like, and they would install their proposal onto the shopfront. So that was very fun. It was rather competitive. Everyone also worked together very well, and they were trying to aim to get their design proposed. So that was my group, the picture there. We did well for the project. Unfortunately, we were not picked, but we had a lot of fun, and the group that was picked actually invited us over to help with their installation. So the installation part was also very thrilling. So next is my trip to Melbourne. So this Melbourne trip was more or less one of my favorite highlights in my life in Singapore Poly. So we visited Melbourne in Australia. We spent a total of 9 days and 9 nights there. So it was a trip which was with the diploma in architecture. So our purpose of the trip was to go there. We had a lot of real-life industry partners similar to our Malacca trip. And also we went there to look at potential places to study afterwards, so our universities. So the universities in question would be RMIT, Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, and also UniMelb, the University of Melbourne. So along with that, we had a lot of sightseeing. We went to the National Gallery of Victoria, we went to St Kilda's Beach, and also the Shrine of Remembrance. So as you can see from the pictures, those were some of the few places we visited. The architecture there was super nice. It was a really eye-opening trip, and we had a lot of fun there. So also with that, we had a lot of workshops with the universities. So we had to design using 3D augmented design. Yeah. So we had to place bricks according to our design. And these are just some of the project and works that I did in year 2. So in year 2, there's a lot more site visiting, a lot of heavier workload, and our projects were generally more challenging and more fun. So as you can see, the 9 grid which will run across every single year. And then we had a lot of model making. We had to stay overnight a lot in school actually during the final period, the final run as we call it. So we stayed overnight with our friends, had to shower here, brush our teeth here, and it was overall just a very fun experience. So this is another key highlight, my internship. So I actually interned at a firm called Topos Architects. So I had to do a lot of planning, a lot of drawing using software, a lot of rendering, and then we did a lot of site visit and client meetings too. So this internship actually gave me a lot of real-life experiences that I'll be proud to say that I'm familiar with now, and I'm ready to go into the industry anytime. So if you are very good with the firm, so the firm really likes you, they'll be more than willing to take you in as their worker in the future. So also it's a very nice feeling to see your projects being built. So now it's another big part of your life in SP, CCA. So, so apart from CCA itself, there's a lot of co-curricular activities that you can take part in. So we are talking about like competitions, workshops, and of course community service, which will be a big part too. So CCA-wise, most people would have a lot of sports CCA. For myself, I had the opportunity to join a club, an external club called the Society of Interior Designers Singapore, or in short form SIDS. So I joined as part of the student chapter, so I had to organize with my friends there a lot of events, so things like awards, things like talks, and yeah. So a lot of networking. We got to know a lot of people from the industry. So when we go into the industry, we'll be really familiarize ourselves with the people there. So yeah, we had to do a lot of event planning too. So that was very fun. So the thing about this Society of Interior Designers Singapore is that they take students from all parts of Singapore. So it's not only limited to XP itself, but there's also students from TP and other design diplomas schools. So then we have the Social Innovation Project. So this is a school-wide module which every single student will take. Some of them will have the chance to go overseas to pursue their Social Innovation Project, or as we call it, OSIP, Overseas Social Innovation Project. So they have the chance to go to Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, those kind of places, developing countries to help out with their social problems there. So they were able to play with the children there, build some form of shelter, things like that. Very meaningful. For the normal SIP track that most students would take, our task was to craft a solution for an existing problem in society. So they actually grouped us from 5 different diplomas, all come together, and we made friends and we pursue our solution solving. So as you can see, that's my group over there. We had a lot of fun together too. They were generally new people which I met during this project, but I still keep in touch with them. So we did a lot of planning, a lot of problem solving, and in the end, we were really proud of our design. Next is a competition. So this is a competition that is specifically for architecture and interior design students, and also some of the engineering sector. So this competition is called International Building Design Competition. So it's in conjunction with the International Build Design Week 2020. So it ran across a span of 4 months. It was in the same period where I had an internship, so it was a really challenging time for me, but I managed to pull through it and I had a lot of fun and made a lot of new friends too. So as I mentioned, the other diplomas that will be together with you would be architecture and also mechanical engineers. So with that, I made a lot of new friends. And we had to face other teams from really well-established schools in Singapore. So schools like NUS, NTU, TP, and other institutes. So one of the very interesting things that happened during this competition was that CB was implemented, or circuit breaker rather, was implemented halfway through this this competition. So our group dynamic really changed. We went from site visiting every weekend at Ngee Ann City, which is where this project is based at, to having to stay at home and look at each other through our screens and stream with each other. So this is another workshop that I participated in, which is called the Design to Serve workshop. So this is in conjunction with ArchiFest 2020. So our purpose was to design a homeless shelter for people in Singapore. So it was a workshop consisting of 20 people, split across 3 diplomas, which would be interior design, architecture, and also civil engineering. So when we were to build, we were given raw materials, and we had to make them into this shelter that you can see on the screen there. So we were really proud of it, and it got featured in the National Design Center in Singapore. Yeah. Thank you so much. That's all for my presentation. I really hope you enjoy and you get a glimpse of what your life would be like in SP2. I have more memories to come. I still have my final year projects to do, and yes, that's something that I'm really proud of. Now I will cue the facilities tour video. I hope you have a glimpse of our very extensive facilities here in SP. Please do sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
Welcome back to our session. I'm going to start off with the Q&A session. But before I start, you may put in your question via the QR code that's flashing on the screen right now. You can put inside the pigeonhole. Okay, so for those of you who just joined us, my name is Carol, and I'm going to introduce my panelists over here. So I have Mr. Chow Kim Nam, the Deputy Director, and also Ms. Liu Xiang Ling, our Deputy Director from the School of Architecture and the Built Environment. So I'm going to take on the first question. Now, the first question is, with COVID-19, how often students are expected at campus, and how are lessons and exams done? So I'm going to start off with Kim Nam over here. He is mainly taking care of the 3 design courses, which is Diploma in Architecture, Diploma in Landscape Architecture, and Diploma in Interior Design.
Thanks, Carol. And thank you for the question. It is a very good question. I think you want to appreciate that this is a momentous occasion for all of us. But I want to assure you that not just me, but the entire SP staff team has responded tremendously towards this whole COVID. And it allows us to innovate. So one of the key innovations that we have now is that the lectures are all generally asynchronous. That means to say you come online, you will hear the lecture either being pre-recorded, and it's great because many of my students reflect that it allows them to review the lectures again if they happen to miss out anything. Asynchronous meaning there is an opportunity for you to review the lectures at your own time. So generally speaking, the lectures will be through what we call platforms like MS Teams. Occasionally we use Zoom. Tutorials, on the other hand, will generally be face-to-face. So we will stagger your timing to come back to campus. Especially for the design diplomas, we think that it is easier to engage you, be either on a group or individual basis. You come together and we do face-to-face consultation to help you progress on your project. So that's generally the framework that we work towards. There are occasional moments whereby we will switch to online tutorials depending on the needs or the timings of the year. But rest assured that we are taking every precaution at this Polytechnic to ensure that the learning environment is a safe one during this period.
Okay, thank you, Kim Nam. Xiang Ling, you want to address that for Diploma in Civil Engineering, Diploma in Facilities Management, and also Diploma in Integrated Events and Project Management?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, similarly like what Mr. Chow has mentioned, some of the lessons are conducted online with pre-recorded lesson. However, we also have some online lesson conducted through our platform MS Team. So for the tutorial at the moment, it's still face-to-face, so students do come back for the tutorial and practical session. And as for the exam, at the moment, if the situation permit, we will still have the exam conducted face-to-face, but of course with safe distancing measures being observed. I hope that answered the question.
Okay, now I'm going to move on to the next question. I think it's an interesting question over here. Any tips to succeed in built environment courses? So I will see, I don't know, Xiang Ling or Kim Nam, who wants to take this question?
Sure, I can start off. It's a good question. And I think the first thing that perhaps I want to advise all of you out there is to have as much clarity as possible as to what the courses in the built environment offer. Whether it is in the design sector, let's say architecture, interior, landscape architecture, or in civil engineering, events and facilities management. I think it's important to know what these courses offer. And I think it's also important to realize that you are engaging with the environment. So really, if you have an interest there, and you feel that this is where you see yourself potentially investing time and energy. You love taking walks, let's say, in the nature reserves. You love trying to understand and figure out how buildings come together, how they come up and how they are maintained. Then I think with that interest and success, you'll be one step onwards towards succeeding in these courses and in pursuing a career in the built environment.
Okay. Xiangling, anything to add on top of that?
I suppose how the lesson is being delivered in secondary school can be quite a little bit different in the poly. So I think advice to you, if you want to excel in the Polytechnic, very importantly, you must work hard, study hard, and of course, complete your assignment. So as long as you work hard, complete your assignment, I think you should be able to excel. And not to worry, if let's say there are some subject that you find that you have difficulty coping, your lecturer are always there to help you. All right?
Okay, now I'm going to move on to the next one. How many SP graduates go on to universities? So this is something I think everybody is curious about.
Now, I think that's a good question, and I think the aspiration to move on to further beyond your diploma it's a good ambition. So to put things in perspective, it really depends on which diploma you're looking at. But by and large, at least up to pre-COVID, where it was easier to travel overseas, I would say up to 50% of each of our diploma graduates in each course, they move on to the university programs. But you also have to realize that our industry is shifting and changing. So you would find that many of our industry partners equally value these days experience, and they value hard work and determination. And not everything is necessarily accredited to a paper chase. So unless there are certain specific qualifications that you are after, it is good to review and I think consult with the tutors or with ABE to figure out what will be the next career move you have should you enter into this program.
Okay, so I think that for Xiangling, you are also agreeable to what Ginam have mentioned.
Yes, correct.
So I'm going to move on to the next one. I think I tend to see a lot of students asking this particular question. Is it necessary to take D&T or any basic skills to join design courses? I think Ginam, you have to take this one.
Yeah, I thank you for that question. It is a question we get often, and I think tied to that also many people ask, do I need to know how to draw in order to excel in a design program? So the answer is actually, in short, no. Our programs believe that we train you from scratch. That is to say, even your drawing skills, I assume everybody knows some rudimentary drawing skills, simple things like holding a pencil and a ruler. And from there, we will instruct you, and it's really then for you to be determined and pick up the skills as and when we teach you. So no, you do not need drawing skills, and in the same breath, you do not need D&T skills. In a sense, it is both a blessing and yet somewhat not so critical, or in fact it might be something that works against you because it could fix you in a certain way of thinking about things. And over here we like to experiment. So really we approach design from multiple angles with different methodologies. So D&T is perhaps only going to equip you with one way of thinking. You have to be prepared to be open and learn new and different ways of exploring design.
Okay, thank you. The next question is targeted for diploma in civil engineering. So Xiangling, you will have to address that. What type of CAD software is being used in diploma in civil engineering?
Okay, thank you for the question. So basically, in line with the Building Construction Authority industry transformation map to build smart and more efficient, we do cover software, all right, to equip our students with drafting skill. So for the CAD software, we cover AutoCAD, Revit, all right, to equip our students with 2-dimension and 3-dimension drafting skill. And to extend a little bit more, if you are interested in programming, we do offer an elective module on computer programming. All right, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, now the next question is about internship. How long is the internship program for ABE students, and will we be able to choose our company? So I'm going to ask Xiangling to answer this one first.
Okay, generally for diploma in civil engineering, integrated events and project management, as well as diploma in facility management, all right, our internship program will be 22 weeks. 22 weeks. Yes, correct. 22 weeks, and whether we can choose for certain program, diploma program, we allow students to choose, but certain program we will be the one doing the matching because there will be certain criteria that we need to fulfill. So usually we will look at what's the requirement by the company and then try to match to the strength and the capability of the student. All right?
Okay, Kingnam, you want to address it for the 3 design courses?
Pretty much quite similar as a response, 22 weeks. So the question about whether you're able to choose your companies also has to work 2 ways. The companies also would want to choose you. So there are moments where we would allow you to seek your companies. We have criteria that you would need to follow, but those same companies will be interviewing you, just very much like seeking your first job. And I think that kind of experience is actually going to be very helpful in terms of preparing you for the real world, because all of you will be preparing your CVs, your portfolios, and you'll be getting your first taste of what it means to be accepted or rejected. So yes, pretty much a real world mimicking.
Okay, so the last question. Okay, so this one, I think everybody is a bit fearful about mathematics. So how intensive will maths be for architectural and interior design courses?
Thank you. I think that is an interesting question. There is no math subject per se when you enter into these programs. It also includes landscape architecture. But we will assume that you have a good grasp of numbers and certain simple mathematical logics, because you will do things like being able to calculate very quickly the structural framing grids. So being able and familiar with numbers is what we will emphasize. If your question specifically pertains to getting entry into a special pathway program that we have set up with SUTD, that is something perhaps I would want to get you to look online for more information, and if necessary, then approach one of our staff in one of the breakout sessions later to have greater clarifications. Thank you.
Okay, so we have come to the end of the Q&A session. I'm so sorry that we are not able to address every single question, but fear not, because after this session, you can go into our breakout session. Later on, you will be able to see the QR code and also the link over there. So do join us. Those of you who have signed up previously, you would have received an email on the link on how to join the breakout session. There you can ask more questions, and we have staff on standby to answer and address every single of your questions. We will try as much as we can to help you with that. And those of you who have not signed up previously, don't worry, later on you can sign up via the link that is going to be on screen. So once again, thank you for joining us, and I would like to thank Kingnam and Xiangling for being the panelists for this Q&A session. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.